is opening. And then it is supposed to be followed by singing the national anthem. I hope the host will be ready for that, and also Mas Madrasah. And then our core event today is module review. Will be delivered by Ibu Kurnia Atayullah. And followed by questions and answer sessions. The last one is closing and prayers. So let's move to our first agenda, which is opening. So let's open this webinar by saying Basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hopefully this event can run smoothly as it should be. Okay, the next is singing our national anthem, Indonesia Raya, followed by Mars Guru Madrasah that will be led by the host. Please, Mr. or Mrs. Host. No, okay. Well, I'm afraid that the host also have something to do out there. So let's move to our next agenda. Now, please welcome our keynote. Sorry, it's not our keynote speaker. Let's please welcome our speaker today, Ibu Kurnia Atayullah, MPD, who will deliver and review the Unit 3 of our Bedah module today, language focus in context. But before she delivers the review, please allow me to read her resume. Her full name is Kurnia Atayullah, MPD. She was born in Kediri, February 28th, 1980. Now she lives in Bonganti, Purwobosari, Ngadirejo, Temanggung. And then her phone number is 0812-2507-0029. And then her email address is kenhachiko@gmail.com. His education, she graduated from UNES, taking her master degree for English studies. And then for the award, she becomes Guru Teladan Tingkat Kabupaten Temanggung in 2016. Some of the published journal or published research that she has already done lately is the first, evaluating the availability of higher order thinking skills or HOTS in reading comprehension questions in English textbook for year 10 of high school. This become her thesis. The second one is teachers and students' perspective on speaking skills, a comparison between Japan and Indonesia. This is a research report to complete Diploma 1 of English Education in Naruto University of Education, Japan. So those are short biography of our speaker today. So now please, I welcome Ibu Kurnia Atayullah. The screen is yours.
Thank you very much, Faf. And Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Let me address those who we should be grateful for so that this event can happen today. The first one is Professor Dr. Ali Ramdhani STPMT, the Director General of Islamic Education, Ministry of Religious Affairs, Republic Indonesia. And then Dr. Muhammad Zain, the Director of Gtkmb. And the next one is Dr. Anis Mashkur MA, the Head of Subdirector Developing MA/MAK Gtkmb. And Bapak Dr. Ainur Rafiq MAG, who is supposed to be our keynote speaker today. And then I should thank you too, Bu Afaf, for directing this event, and all beloved fellow teachers, English teachers across Indonesia who are joining this webinar now. And especially my thanks goes to Putris, who already invited me to take part in this, inshallah, a very, a beautiful moment to share everything about Modul UP3 or Unit 3. In my screen, I wrote UP5 instead of UP3, but that's not a big deal. So whatever UP is it, let's discuss about modality and context. Okay, first of all, let's praise be to Allah. All praises be to Allah who has given us these beautiful moments in health and to meet everyone today to discuss this model and to review everything in it, and also shalawat serta salam upon our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Okay, so I thought I would be speaking few minutes later after series of other remarks, maybe from Putris or other keynote speakers, but okay, Bu Afaf immediately gave the floor to me. So
only two of us, yes.
I think we are late already to start this discussion. So, and today is still one of those days in Ramadan Mubarak. So moms and mothers will need extra time in the afternoon to prepare for iftar. So I would go to our discussion by sharing my screen first. Okay, can you help me to enable me screen share on my laptop, please, Mr. or Mrs. Host, so I can share screen my material, because it says that the host disabled participant screen sharing, so I need the help of Mr. or Mrs. Host to enable me share my screen. Bu Afaf, can you do it for me, or maybe Bu Neng?
It's usually Pak Lukman, the host of the program.
But Lukman is not here, I'm afraid.
I'm sorry. Naik HP, Bun.
Oke, Bu Neng bisa tolong di enable screen share-nya?
Yes. Oh, it's okay.
Okay. Still waiting for the host to let me share my screen. Okay, thank you so much.
Please.
So we will start by having a closer look to the model that we got maybe. Did everyone here already get the model? Okay, so if not, you can have a look at my screen and discuss it together. So I would like to go further to the part which is important for us to discuss. I think this opening part is okay. Okay, so I would go straight to the page 13. Here in the module, we have perangkat pembelajaran, alat dan bahan yang harus disiapkan oleh guru. One of them, the module, provide us with some YouTube links. And if you happen to have free time, you may click those links to check if the sources can help us deepen our insight about the modality, especially about the topics being discussed in this module. First, I tried to click the first link, and what I found is that the YouTube is not specifically discussing about will, would, and be going to, which are required to be discussed in the kompetensi dasar regarding the modality. Instead, this link discussed about how to use need to, must, have to, and should. None of them is about will or would like to or be going to. And then the second one, the second link is discussing about be going to, must, can, should, and may. So this is useful for the teachers who would like to know more about how to use be going to. Fortunately, the presentation is not that interesting because it is an animation, and the voice used in the video is a voiceover, so it is not a real person.
Audionya termute, Bunda. Silakan
Okay. Thank you. And then the third link is discussing all the modalities and also addressing about will and would, which is also useful for teachers who would like to know more about will or would. And the most interesting one is the fourth one, which we can use to, again, deepen our knowledge about will. But still, I think in terms of module, who is expected to give a qualified sources for teachers to refer to, those four links still need to be considered to be put in the module if there should be a revision for the next PKP activity. Okay, and then, well, wait a minute, I would like to change this to this first. Okay, and then okay, in the model, we are also given by the we are also given with the target kompetensi guru, or the both pedagogical and also professional competence for teachers to be mastered. And here it is stated that teachers are expected to master all the materials about modality in terms of linguistics and also sociolinguistics, pragmatics, and social context. But I would like to emphasize that those teachers' competence, which should cover all the materials about modality, need to be specified into this basic competence for students to be mastered. So I think it will be still acceptable if the teachers do not have adequate knowledge about modality in every types of the modality and its usage, as long as the teachers has a sufficient knowledge and a very good understanding about the modality which are used to achieve the students' basic competence. In this case, the modality which are used to express intentions and plan. To express intention and plan, the curriculum only require the teachers to discuss about how to use be going to and would like to, and put aside the other kinds of modalities. So I think during the PKB activity, if we happen to hold training for FastProf or FASDA, it is advisable that the instructors focus on how to make the facilitators to master how to use be going to and would like to and all the social and cultural context of those two modalities, and only give them knowledge about other kinds of modalities when it is necessary. So we put priority in making the material of the model about this modality. So the first priority would be the modal verbs, which are used to state, plan, and intention, and discussion about modal verbs. Other modal verbs are only given when it is really necessary. Okay, and then we will go on to this indikator pencapaian kompetensi. Here, as we all know that indikator pencapaian kompetensi in all materials would cover three elements or components. They are fungsi sosial or social function, and then the structure of the language, and also the language features. And here, for the topics about modalities, I think we will be enough emphasizing on the social function and the language elements or language features of those modal verbs. Okay, so IPK inti, I think they are all acceptable to membedakan, distinguish the expressions of intention in the form of be going to and would like to. There are something that I want to discuss about them further later in the next part. Okay, and then, okay, I put my note here on ruang lingkup materi. So in the module, ruang lingkup materi covers modals and semi-modals. And then the second one is modality in context, which express plan and intentions. While I personally offers my own perspective in the material coverage that is better to be given to during the training. Here, I divided them into 4 parts. The first part of the material is explaining about what is modality and types of modality. And then, because once again, we will put more emphasis on modalities which are used to express plan and intention. So I think it would be better to go immediately to the material about will and be going to. And then after that, will and would like to. Sorry, this is not will and would like to, but want. I can explain to you why I changed this material into be going to versus will and want versus would like to. While the curriculum says that we need to deliver about be going to and would like to, and do not discuss anything about want. But this is a very strong relationship or strongly related between want and would like to. And that is why I think it is very important to put a special discussion on the difference between will and be going to, and want and would like to. And then the fourth part would be modality in context, expressing plan and intention, and asking plan. And I put the division of time duration also here. And okay, so this is integrasi keislaman, which is very good hadith about niyah. We can relate the hadith to the material. And then, okay, so bahan bacaan here will refer to my divisions of lingkup material, which I start with modality, not core modals and semi-modals. Why is it so? Because I think it is very important to firstly make the teachers understand or grab a comprehensive understanding about what a modality is. So this part, I would like to, I am practicing the difference between want and would like to. I am replacing these explanations about models with my own simplified definition about modality. So modality is a group of words which we can use to express conditions such as likelihood or certainty. This is what we call probability. And then the second one is conditions about whether something is possible or not for someone to do. And then conditions about whether we have a permission to do something or not, and also obligation, and etc. and so on. And then instead of including core models and semi-models, which I think is a bit confusing for us to understand, I would rather have characteristics of modal verbs first to be put here. And this model has covered some of them. I only add some which are necessary to my perspective. The first one, the characteristics of modal verbs are that they agree with any subjects, like I, you, we, they will go to school. So the verbs used after modality will come always in the form of bare verbs. It is different from verbs that are used in simple present tense, which do not always agree with any subjects. And then they never change their form, or they never change the bare verbs. I would rather have the bare verbs instead of their form, because their form is unclear what is meant by their form. So I think if we can change the word into the bare verbs, they never change the bare verbs, it can be understood easier by the teachers. Although here in the module, it is stated or further explained that you can't add s, ed, or ing. So it is clear that they never change their form is meant to be they never change the verbs. So the verbs remain to be the bare verbs after modality. So we need to paraphrase this sentence. And also it is something which I need to address also, that in a book like Modul, we cannot use this kind of shortened modality. It is a written language, so, and formal too, because it is a model. So I think it will be better we use can not. And then we will paraphrase also the third sentence. They are always followed by an infinitive without to. To be, they are not followed by to. Will to, can to, must to. I think this way, shorter sentence and simpler one will be easily understood by the readers. And then they are used to indicate modality, allow speakers to express certainty, possibility. We will omit this because this part has been given here. Okay. And then I would also love to continue the material according to my outline before. So I think it's okay to have this information about modal verbs, type of modal verbs and examples, but this part we can omit them, I think, because it is not that necessary to discuss about these modalities. We are not familiar, and they are also not among those modalities which are needed to be used in expressing intention and plan. So there, ought to, had better, and need not is beyond the coverage of our KD. So I think it will be distracting the teachers or the training participants focus on the modalities which are used to express intention and plan. And then this one is also stated above already, so we do not need to put this information again. And okay, the examples are acceptable, but for the second example here, unfortunately, they use need not, which I think is less familiar for the teachers and also for the students. So I think it would be much better if we provide examples which are more familiar for both teachers and students. And then the informations here about models also too rich for the teachers, I think. Modals include core modal verbs, semi-modal verbs, and other modal expressions. They combine main verbs and modify their meanings. This information is important, maybe, but not that important for this time being when we are focusing only on modalities which are related to the expressions of intention and plan. Okay, and meanwhile, information about modal may have several different meanings, while similar meanings may be expressed by using different modals. We can include them into the social function of modalities. Okay, and then all the red part here about core modal verbs, I would like to say that to my perspective, I would consider to omit them from Modul and replace them with more simplified information about modalities. And then, okay, bahan bacaan kedua, modality in context, is in line with my organizations about material. We are here coming to a part which focus on modalities which are used to express plan and intention. So that is why in this social function part, we may provide, or this is the place where we introduce all kinds of modalities and the different social function of each of them. So instead of listing kinds of modalities like this, we can provide the most famous or the most familiar modalities with their social function. So we can put them into 2 columns, for example, to make it clearer for the reader and understandable. And then here, to express willingness, we can put them into social function, while this part, we can put them separately in language features and structures. So it is very important to have a very strict organization of modules, which part is discussing social function and another part discussing language features and structure, so that we do not put them in the one mixed part like this. Okay. And okay, I can see also that this model also gives us dialogue or conversation, which covers the expressions of intention and plan. And the dialogues, of course, uses some modalities, but I would say that it would be much better for us to provide authentic examples of the dialogue or the conversation, instead of having dialogue which happen in Indonesian context. We should also enrich the students' imaginations on how to use English in global context. So I would love to see dialogue or conversations in models which picture the conversations in international setting, like a conversation between people of different countries. Okay. And then these models also tries to discuss the dialogue in terms of the language features. And here, the model tries to discuss it from 2 points of view. The first one is the use of will and the use of would like to, and also put some social function explanation here. We use will for prediction when we have no real evidence. I think it is scattered information, as I feel like finding scattered information in this model. I would rather have all information about social functions are grouped in one subtitle, for example, and then another group of social, the language features and language structures is grouped into a specific subtitle. Apart from the mistyping here, we can also find some ungrammatical sentences in this model, which I think need to be edited later when we are going to produce the next model for the next Gtkmb program. Okay, and then here another explanation about the modal verbs be going to, which uses Bahasa Indonesia. So I think it is important to be consistent with the language used in the explanation. We already have all the explanations above in English, so I would really appreciate if the model is being consistent with the language and doesn't combine or mix Indonesian and English in the explanation part. Okay, and okay, I'm not going to talk much about the activity on job and in or on training. I would go right away to the LKPD for the participants. Here, it seems that the participants will be given an LKPD which provide them with maybe a conversation using some modal verbs, especially those which are expressing intention and plan. And then the participants will be given these questions about, not questions, but instructions on explaining the meaning of core and semi-modals, which I think they are not really important for the participants to understand, because I think this PKB is not about giving a lecture for the teachers about English grammars and etc. But PKB is training for teachers or facilitators on how to address or how to be able to develop material or classroom teaching design, which are in line with curriculum. So if the curriculum requires us to teach about expressions of intention and plan, so I think we can just focus on that. Okay, and then for penilaian part, there are at least 4 dialogues that I saw provided by this model. And to me, it is obvious that all those dialogues are taken from local worksheet or LKS. None of the dialogue is representing an authentic material or authentic dialogue. So I think it is very important to for us to consider giving examples of authentic dialogues to expose the students and the teachers with native-like English instead of Indonesian English. So that's all about the module, but I would like to share with you the material that I have already prepared in my PowerPoint slide. Is it clear for you? Is it clear for you? my PowerPoint slide?
Not yet showed.
Okay, wait. I will try to share screen again. Can you all follow my screen?
Yes, it is now on screen.
Yeah. It's now seen on the screen.
So, discussing, so I'm making this PowerPoint to address the lingkup materi, which I already outlined or I discussed in my previous presentation. So here I would start with the definition of modality and the conditions which are conveyed by modalities in general, starting from likelihood until advice. So this is a very general knowledge first about modality. And then we are narrowing down to some social functions of modalities. So here we give the types of modal verbs, and I choose the ones which are familiar for the teachers and also students. And I give the examples of those modal verbs in sentence and also what it means or what conditions when it is used in the sentence. For example, when we use may in sentence, it may rain. So may here indicates a condition of possibility, and it differs from may in the next sentence, you may enter, because here may indicates permission, etc., and so on. And then the next material will cover about the characteristics of modal verbs, which I already discussed in my previous presentation too. Okay, more or less, it is what we have discussed before. And then we will go to modalities. Sorry, wait a minute. The language structure of modal verbs. So when we talk about the language structure of modal verbs, we do not mix them with the discussion on social function. I think this way it will be easier for the teachers and also students to follow. And then now we are focusing on modality which are used to express intention and plan. In terms of expressing intention and plan, will and be going to are showing different conditions. So even though the curriculum requires us to talk about be going to and would like to, I think it is important for teachers to also address how to use will, because be going to is comparable with the use of will instead of be going to versus would like to. Comparing will and be going to is very important to make or to help teachers and students understand the difference between will and be going to and how to use them appropriately in a real context. Will is used for instant decision. For example, I'm hungry, I'll order a pizza. So the decision of ordering pizza occurs minutes after I feel hungry. And another example, it is a dialogue between two persons. Lucy, someone is knocking the door. And then Lucy answers by, okay, I'll get it. So Lucy's decisions to get the door comes only seconds after someone asks her to open the door. Here, we then give the students or the teachers the difference between will and be going to by giving explanation that be going to is used when the decision or plan is already made or arranged before. For example, Indra is going to travel the world. Sorry, it's not words, but world. When he finishes his master degree. And Ayu is going to be inaugurated as our new manager next week. Both examples here are plans which are already arranged before. And then next, we will follow the material with explanation about the language structure of be going to, because the language structure of be going to is different from the language structure when we use will. How to form a positive sentence, negative and interrogative using going to, be going to. And it hasn't been addressed in the module, I think. So the next one is an exercise of distinguishing between will and be going to. We give the teachers or students opportunities to digest the information and to try their understanding on these exercises. Very simple one, but I think it will be very helpful for them to have a better understanding of the difference between will and be going to. Like, your shoes are really dirty. Okay, let them choose between will and be going to and put them correctly in this sentence. And then the next one is another exercise on want and would like to. So this is a very important thing to notice, that actually will, be going to, and would like to are not really the same. Sometimes would like to is also used to replace want when a request or an offer is. So would like to is a polite form of want. It doesn't indicate a plan or intention. Rather, it expresses a desire. So a desire is a different from intention and plan. So here, for example, a child would say, I want some candies, but an adult would say, I would like some soup, or I would like to go home. I would like to go home now. So instead of using want, an adult who can behave politely will choose would like to or would like, which sounds more polite. So I want to go to the cinema will become, I would like to go to the cinema tonight, and I want to send this letter to friends can be replaced by I would like to send this letter to friends to sound more polite. And then we need to provide more information about the social function of want and would like to. First one, that want or would like to used to make a request or an offer. Like, do you want some cookies? We want to say it informally. And would you like some cookies? When we are in formal situation or when we want to be more polite. It also used to make an invitation, such as, do you want to dance in informal setting, or would you like to dance to sound more formal and more polite, or would you like to have lunch? And then also it is true that would like to is used to make an intention or plan, like in this sentence, I would like to visit Tibet one day. I would like to come to your wedding party when you get married. But here, it is different when we say, I will visit Tibet and I'm going to visit Tibet and I would like to visit Tibet one day. Because I will visit Tibet, it is a very sudden decision from whatever reasons the speaker has. While I'm going to visit Tibet is obviously an prior arranged plan. And then when we say I would like to visit Tibet one day, means that it's an intention undecisively, and it is also a plan which are not arranged yet, but this person has a plan or intention in the future that he or she would like to visit Tibet one day. But it is not clear when, because it is not arranged yet, and it is not either a sudden decision or an instant decision. So in this case, when someone say, I would like to visit Tibet one day, it doesn't imply that he makes a sudden decision, neither means that he has arranged this plan before. It is just a very general and open intention in the future. So, discussing about want and would like, it means that we need to also provide the teachers in the module with the language structure of want or would like to, how to make a good sentence using want and would like to in the form of positive, negative, and interrogative sentences. Okay, so I think if we can put them and be more specific about the discussion about modality which address the basic competence to be mastered by the students. In this case, about how to express intention and plan, that would be much better. That's all what I'm going, that I try to offer in this meeting. So thank you, Bu Afaf and everyone, for your attention. And I think there are already some people who already raised their hands. So it's time for questions and discussions.
Okay, thank you very much, Ibu Kurnia, for a very thorough review of the module. And there are some highlights that I would like to summing up here. The first one is that Ibu Kurnia would like to regroup the modality of module itself, so it only focus on intentions on and plan. Not like in the module, it is so wide, it is so there are so many modality discussed in the module, but she prefer that it is much better if the module focus on only intentions and plan, and also regrouping about social functions in one subtitle, language features, and also language structures. And she also emphasizes on the use of authentic materials and dialogues when giving examples to students. Okay, so now I have two participants who has already raised their hands here. The first one is Ibu Eva. So I would like to give time to Ibu Eva. Please have your time, Ibu Eva. Ibu Eva Farida. Okay, now next, the next one is Pak Azman. Pak Azman, do you have something to say?
All right. Actually, I would like just to focus on the example of a dialogue on page 24 in that module. On page 24, there's a dialogue between Sarah and Ali. There's a dialogue between Sarah and Ali, and in the dialogue, of course, there are some examples of how the writer of this module give the examples of using modality. Here, there are in that. Wait, I open that module first. Yeah, in that module, on page 24, the dialogue between Sarah and Ali, there are 10 sentences. So the dialogue consists of 10 sentences. But unfortunately, there are 5. I think there are 5 sentences of the 10 total sentences in that dialogue that need revising. For example, an interrogative sentence here, how about you? How about you? Yeah. See, Ali here in this sentence says, hello, I'm going to visit Mike, from the first sentence. Yeah. Sarah initiates the conversation, the dialogue. Sarah starts asking a question. Hello, Ali, what are you going to do this weekend? Then Ali answers, hello, I'm going to visit my grandmother in Jakarta. How about you? Naini, how about you? Actually, there's a slight difference between how about you and what about you.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay. For example, if this is how to use how about you. For example, somebody says, I'm bored staying here. Bored is an adjective. I'm bored staying here. How about you? So that's a correct sentence. How about you? Because the question is asking about adjective.
Feelings.
Yeah, feelings, adjective. So the answer must be feelings, and feelings must be adjective. So in this module, the sentence is, how about you? Hello, I'm going to visit my grandmother in Jakarta. How about you? This sentence should be, what about you? What about your planning? Okay, then Sarah answers, well, I still do not have any plan for the weekend. Then Ali says, why don't you go to the museum? Why don't you go to museum? Nah, ini pure question ini. This is a pure question. Why don't you go to the museum? Lagi pula, this sentence is in present tense without time expression. Ini sulit dipahami yang ini nih. So, if this is a apa namanya itu suggestion, bagusnya ini why not? Why not go to museum? Why not? Why not? Bukan why don't you? Kalau why don't you ini, this is a pure question. Why don't you? Tapi ini pun sulit ini jawab. Harusnya why didn't you? Why won't you? And so on. Nah, kalau Ali menyarankan, if Ali gives a suggestion here to Sarah, Ali should have said, why not go to museum? Kemudian Sarah menjawab, this That is a good idea, but I have to do my assignment first. Assignment di sini ya, tunggal in singular form. Have you done your assignment? Again in singular form. Kemudian Ali menjawab. Ali answers, no, I haven't. I'd like to do them. I'd like to do them this evening. Padahal assignmentnya di sini in singular form. Dan apa namanya ini? Apa namanya ini? Kata gantinya ini, kata ganti dari assignment yang tunggal ini di bawahnya kemudian menggunakan them. Harusnya I'd like to do it this evening. Kemudian Sarah menjawab lagi, berkata lagi, ask a question again. Well, can we do together? Can we do together? Nah, ini kan apa ini artinya nih? What is the meaning of this expression, this interrogative sentence? Can we do together? Perhaps ya, can we do it together mungkin ya maksudnya. Well, can we do it together? It di sini refers to the assignment. Kemudian the very last sentence, the conclusion sentence, I will be waiting for. I will be waiting for. Okay, great. I will go to your house at 4 p.m. then. Kemudian Ali answers, I will be waiting for. Tak perlu for sebenarnya di sini nih. Okay, I'll be waiting. Cukup di situ sebenarnya. I'll be waiting. Nah, maksud saya, the materials here adalah raw materials. Sedangkan approaches, teaching methods, strategies, teaching tactics, and so on itu kan hanya the way we, kalau ibarat masakan, the way we cook it. Mau kalau ada daging ayamnya, mau disate, mau diopor, mau diapakan, itu about ways, approaches, methods, strategies, and techniques. Tapi pertama-tama barangkali di modul ini disiapkan sebuah teaching materials yang kalau bisa without any defects lah ya, without any defects. Itu saja my comment about this module, especially on page 24. Thank you.
Okay, Pak Azman. So Pak Azman didn't ask any questions, yeah. So only focusing on grammatical rules on the dialogue itself. The first one is the difference between what about and how about. Because I totally agree with you. The text. This is summing up. Yeah, later Ibu Kurnia will also give her comments. The second one is using why don't you.
Yeah.
And then the third one is reference between singular and then suddenly coming into plural. And then after that, do, it is a transitive verb, so it needs an object, but it is loose like that, just do like that. And then the last one is I'll be waiting. Supposed to be only I'll be waiting without for. Okay, now please Ibu Kurnia, those are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that he commented already. Your response, please.
Yeah, I think I'm glad to have you, Pak Azam, to be here today. And I intentionally leave the dialogue to be discussed by the floor, not by me. And I think I'm on the same perspective with you, observing the dialogues provided by the module. I feel a little bit sad to find out that though the dialogues the dialogues which are authentic and presenting dialogues of how to use those modalities in international or by speakers of English spoken countries. Why is it so? It is because expressions, actually the most difficult or not difficult but challenging part of teaching English is exposing the social and cultural elements into the language. In academical writing, such as explanation text, discussion, or hortatory, expository, cultural and social context do not really have their influence on the writing, but expressions and grammars are very culturally related with how this language is used in their origin place. So we have to be very careful in putting this grammar, or how to use the grammar or expressions, because it will influence how the students understand the language and how to use them appropriately in an appropriate cultural and social context. And I see your points of view, and that is what I highlighted in my previous presentations, that is very important to provide authentic material, authentic or example of dialogue and conversations, because if we construct our own dialogue with our limitation of English mastery, I'm afraid that the dialogue we make doesn't really represent how the expressions is appropriately used in their country. For example, examples of the examples that you have discussed just now are also become my points of attention, and I found also some awkwardness in the dialogue used. For example, in giving suggestion, for example, why don't you go to museum? It is actually very different context between here in Indonesia and how suggestion is perceived in the English-speaking countries. From what I know, suggestion in English-speaking countries is something which we need to be very careful on giving them, because people are not always happy to be offered by suggestion by other people. If they do not really ask our suggestion and advice, it is much better for us to keep our thoughts and to not expose them with our opinion. And why don't you go to museum is kind of a very strong suggestion, exposing to other people. There is no problem happening here, and then suddenly you say, why don't you go to museum, is a little bit awkward to me. And also some other points that you have discussed, I totally agree with you. Some grammatical mistakes also happen here. Okay, and that's why I would obviously say to the models developers to be very careful in giving the examples, especially examples of reading text and dialogues, because it is a national level work which will be distributed across Indonesia. So to have a qualified model is something which we need to put attention and effort. Okay, I think that's all I can say about this, Ms. Bu Afaf. Maybe we can go on to our next.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, thank you very much, Ibu Kurnia. The next one is questions from Ibu Yati Sudaryati. Please, Ibu Yati, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Afaf, and also Ibu Kurnia, and salam kenal ya for everyone here. Pak Asman, we meet again today. and Ibu Azmi, everyone. Okay, I will not give any question. Actually, I just want to share what is in my mind about this module. About the dialogue, unfortunately, I do not have the module, and I do not have the complete dialogue. But I agree with Pak Azman and Bu Kurnia that dialogue or text, which is made by local teachers or from Indonesia, is too risky to have many mistakes in grammar. So we need to to be really careful if we want to to use dialogue or text that will be learned by teachers and also students in our country. That is the first one. And then number two, it is about the organization. I also agree with Bu Kurnia. Well, actually, I agree most about your presentation, Bu Kurnia. That is a great presentation about your review. The first one that comes to my mind is, what is the focus of the UP? Is it about modality or about expressing plans and intentions, actually? If the focus is modality, yeah, I think the first one we need to discuss about modality first, yeah, all about modality. And then the second is expressing about plans and intentions. So it is clear, it will be clear for the users of the module. But if the focus is about expressing plans and intentions, as we see in the competency dasar, right? There is a competency dasar, sorry, expressing plans and intentions. What if first discussion is about the expressing plans and intentions? We talk about the the function, and then language features, yeah, and then modality is put in the language feature. That is what I have in my mind about the organization. And then what else? At point 3, characteristics about modal verb. Bu Kurnia, could you please share again the characteristic of modal verb from your module?
From my PowerPoint?
Not PowerPoint, the first one.
Module.
Oh, okay,
Very
module
first
reviewed
one.
model, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I did not write it. Characteristic of modal verb.
Okay.
Characteristic of modal verb.
Which one?
I don't know what page. Characteristics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Point 3. Yeah. They are always followed by an infinitive without to. For example, the bare infinitive. And then the red one is yours, right, Bu Kurnia? They are not followed by to. Yeah. Like will to, can to, must to. You say that the first sentence can be deleted, right? And you, substitute that sentence with yours. Well, I think both of them can be used here. Yeah, so your sentence can be the example. Can make it clearer? Yeah, can make it clearer with your sentence. So they are always followed by an infinitive without to, and then, for example, gitu, yeah. So you can put, for example, will to, can to, must to, like that. Well, that is just what is in my mind. Okay, I think that's all. Yeah, but that is great, Bu Kurnia. Thank you. Assalamualaikum
Bu
warahmatullahi
Yati.
wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So Bu Yati also only comments, yeah, not asking, supporting your idea, Ibu Kurnia, about the organizations of the modules, and also give another comment of this one, yeah, this part, characteristic of the modal verbs. Okay, your response, please.
Yeah, I'm glad that Bu Yati has a common opinion with me. So about the organization of the module, I think we both agree that the emphasis on the module should be on the basic competence of the students. They are about expressing plan and intention. So UP3 modality in context should be specified into modalities which are used to express intention and plan. However, before discussing or specifying about modalities which are used to express plan and intention, we can firstly elaborate about some other kinds of modalities to show how modalities work and to show how each modalities have different functions even when they are the same verbs. That's why in my own lingkup materi, I only address modality and all types of modal verbs in a very short explanation and give more explanations on modalities used for expressing intention and plans.
Okay, thank you. Now, I guess we have our last, Ibu Yati, is it enough?
Yeah, it's clear
okay.
enough. Thank you.
Okay, now we have our last participant who would like to give comments or questions. Ibu Ami, please, the screen is yours. Still muted, Ibu Ami.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam.
Is my voice clear enough? Bu apa?
Yes,
very
loud
nice
and clear.
Ya. Hello, how are you, Bu Kurnia, Bu apa, Bu Yati, and Bapak Ibu? I'm so glad to be here and yeah, I'm joining this program. So awesome, yeah. And I think what Bu Kurnia has already reviewed, it's the kinds of short review. It's already covering almost all. And again, Bu Yati is also already emphasizing on the case of why should the modality be there if it is necessary enough. Why don't we separate it a little bit and then make the room for difference to make it to distinguish between the intention and the modality itself by putting it on a certain places such as the structure and the language features. Ya Bu ya. And I'm so glad to know that. Karena, now I try to combine it with bahasa. I think Bapak Ibu juga sudah rindu ini dari tadi semua berbahasa Inggris terus tanpa berhenti ya. Jadi my point of view says that ini hampir sama dengan apa yang terjadi di bedah modul yang kedua if I'm not mistaken, di mana ketiga ya, ketika bersama saya. Analytical exposition bergandengan dengan hortatory exposition. Nah, ini ada perbedaan-perbedaan tertentu walaupun secara garis besar sama, tetapi kemudian muncul perbedaan di mana selayaknya itu dipisahkan. Nah, itu so the same things here happen antara modality dan intention. Kalau intention itu kan kita memang dibatasi pada to be going to untuk yang sudah jelas sudah diniatkan dan will untuk yang memang bisa tiba-tiba teringat atau tidak diniatkan terlebih dahulu. I'll go get it. Misalnya seperti itu tadi. kemudian harus bersanding dengan beberapa modality, itu saya kira ada baiknya untuk dipisah saja daripada dicampur dalam UP ini, karena toh kalau ini diberikan kepada kita, para pendidik, para guru, sebagai apa namanya, kecakapan profesional kita, ujung-ujungnya semua kecakapan ini kan akan kita tularkan pada anak didik. Sedangkan anak didik kita pada saat ini di poin ini akan hanya mendapatkan intention, bukan seluruh modality. So it's quite confusing kalau kemudian ada guru yang tidak begitu tidak begitu, kita tidak katakan bahwa semua guru pandai, semua guru bisa, semua guru mumpuni, no, but ada yang sudah punya pengalaman banyak, ada yang juga baru. Kalau yang baru-baru saja menggeluti dunia belajar mengajar, kemudian memakai buku pegangan ini, modul ini, kemudian melihat urut-urutannya, bisa saja kemudian menganggap bahwa modality adalah modal untuk kemudian kita pakai sebagai acuan menuju atau menggiring kepada intention itu tadi gitu ya. Ini akan pertama memakan waktu banyak sekali. Yang kedua, kebutuhannya quite different. Banyak sekali yang berbeda. So it doesn't have to be a mix. Tapi ketika tadi Bu Yati katakan ini bisa diletakkan di tempat tersendiri. Itu saya kira juga just the same with what Bu Nia has already reviewed ya. Bisa lah kalau memang harus begitu banget, harus memang dicampur ya, diletakkan di tempat tersendiri. Jangan diletakkan di atas, justru yang ini yang primadonanya, ini yang core-nya justru kan intention. Jangan dia diletakkan di bawah gitu. Jadi intentionnya letakkan dulu, diutamakan dulu, baru kemudian modality, there are many kinds of modality, including yang kita pakai sebagai intention, yang kita pakai untuk the expressing of intention. Atau kita mau meletakkan di depan tetapi dengan frame yang tidak bercampur baur seperti tadi. Jadi tabelnya pun tidak terlihat, kemudian arahannya juga, kemudian conversation yang digunakan juga masih banyak yang rancu. Jadi sebaiknya untuk menghindari, like Bu Yati also has said that it's too risky to put some words kalau memang tidak tepat ya. Apalagi bicara tentang modality yang fungsinya sudah pasti di satu tempat 2, satu tempat 3, mas strong necessity, nggak bisa ditaruh di sembarang tempat. So, saya kira langkah baiknya malah kita pisahkan. Kalau saya, from my point of view, says that, well, whatever it is, it's a kind of discussion, and we try to discuss it, isn't it? Wrap up. That's all. Thank you very much.
Well, Ibu Kurnia, I guess all participants are very smart today because no one asked questions. Most of them are giving comments and also supporting your idea. Alhamdulillah, it means that what you delivered was totally clear for them. Okay, your
I apologize for my bad English, yeah. It's been a while not to use English in the classroom.
No, you're
English
good.
is good.
You're good.
Good English.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Ibu Kurnia, your response is to Ibu Almi's statements.
I think I got your points, Bu Ami, and we all agree that the core material of this module should be about expressions of intention and plan to address the basic competence that has to be mastered by the students. So other types of modalities, if really only if it is important to be discussed, should be put in other parts. Maybe it can be it may become material for enrichment if it is really necessary to discuss about modality. But as far as I know, in our curriculum, there is no basic competence for the students and also for the teachers to address all parts of the modalities. They have been distributed according to the short functional text, such as giving suggestion, asking permission, offering help and service. So modalities are other types of modalities have been distributed in other basic competence. So for UP, this UP, I think we only focus on plan and intention.
Okay, fine. So I guess it is asar already and the time is up. Alhamdulillah, Bapak Ibu, thank you very much for your attentions and also for your very active responses. Is there anyone else who would like to say something? I guess no, yeah. Yeah, Alhamdulillah. Fine. So this is the end of our sessions of our meeting. There's no the prayer reader are not here, pembaca doanya. So kita baca doa sama-sama saja ya Bapak Ibu. Okay, let's read Hamdalah together to close our session.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wa atubu ilaik. I'm so sorry for any mistakes that we have already made. See you on the next meeting. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you everyone. See you next time.
Thank you Bu Kurnia. Ose, apa?
Awesome, Bu
Thank you Bu
Kurnia.
Yati, Bu Afaf.
Kasih jempolnya Tayati.
See you again.
And meeting ya Bapak Ibu. Mistris, masih adakah? Miss, aku end meeting.